Are you a Christian entrepreneur who's working hard, serving people, but you're still struggling financially? By the end of this video, you'll understand that God has given you permission to prosper in your business. In fact, He expects that. And you'll also discover the limiting belief that's been holding you back all this time. What's crazy about it is that this lie is so deeply embedded in Christian culture that most people never question it. Luke 10 verse 7 says, "A worker is worthy of his wages." Now those are Jesus' words. And what blows my mind is that before Jesus' ministry, he was a carpenter. He was a skilled tradesman who probably learned under an apprentice. He invested in his trade, and as someone who provided a product and a service for customers, he received money in exchange for the value he provided. And he doesn't expect us to do any different if we're called into business. And the Apostle Paul, yes, he preached freely for a time and a season, but prior to that, he was a tent maker, and he absolutely charged for the work that he did because it supported him in ministry and in life. For years as a Christian entrepreneur, I believed that a good Christian doesn't charge much for their services. I don't even know where I got that lie, but as I think about it, as I ventured into different businesses, I think I was taught that through experience. Back in the day when I was married and my husband and I were doing missions work, we came off the mission field and we had a carpet cleaning business that supported us and our ministry. We were moving to a new city and we visited some of the larger churches in the area in hopes of getting some contracts. So one of the churches we visited was massive. It was something like 18,000 square feet. And so we met with the pastor there and discussed our situation, our ministry, and he said, yeah, go ahead and, take a look around and give us a quote on what you think it would be worth for you to do all the carpets in the church. So we did that and we came back with a very reasonable number. And as we presented it to him, he looked at it and just laughed and said, "Oh no, we can get someone in the church to do that for $100. And we just looked at each other and thought, wow, there's nobody that could do that work for $100. We were surprised because we knew what a big job that was and how many hours and supplies it would take to complete that job. So imagining that somebody could do that for $100, well, we couldn't even touch that because we would have lost money trying to do that job. So we politely declined, saying that we couldn't do it for $100 or less. But walking away from that situation taught us that there was a certain culture in the church that it was expected of us to basically lose money by helping the church. And I appreciate those circumstances where companies are able to do jobs like that for nothing and just to bless the church. But we were in a position, as I said, coming off the mission field, and we were doing honest, hard work just to make a living. So the way we saw it was it goes both ways. We're helping you and you're helping us, and it's a win-win for everyone. But the pastor didn't see it that way, and after years of being in the church culture, we came to understand that mentality. A similar instance happened to me of just a few years back when I was looking for coaching clients. I had just created a program and I was looking for people that I could work with one-on-one as I continued to develop the program. Well, one day I was at the health food store and I met a health and wellness coach there who told me that she was looking to launch her coaching business. And so naturally I told her about the program that I had, and we set up a call to discuss it in more detail. Well, when we spoke, she was so excited about the things that I was going to do with and for her to help her grow her business. and she was 100% on board. But when I presented the price, she came back with a counter offer that was only 30% of what I had asked for. I explained to her that if I were to work with her with the numbers she was suggesting, that I would be losing money to help her with her coaching business. But she came back at me and tried to back me into a corner to force me to agree to her terms. But again, I told her that I wouldn't be comfortable in a win-lose situation for either one of us. And as I thought about it later, I thought, you know what? I wouldn't want to work with a client that would be happy with the fact that I'm losing money by working with them. So although she wasn't a Christian, it was that same principle of expecting the other person to lose so you can win. For years, I believed the lie that Christians should be undercharging or not charging much at all for their products or their services because they're working as unto the Lord. But here's what that mindset really does. When you don't place a value on what God has given you, you end up exhausted, burned out, and unable to serve anyone well, including yourself. So here's what I want you to understand. You can serve people well and make money at the same time. Making money from your gifts allows you to serve even more people. And when you prosper, you can become more generous than you were when you were broke. God wants to bless you so you can be a blessing to others. The goal here isn't to get rich quick or to worship money. The goal is to steward your gifts well, charge what you're worth, and be more impactful for the kingdom. God wants you to prosper in your business so that you can make a difference and advance His kingdom more effectively. When you break free from the poverty mindset, you'll price your services with confidence, not guilt. You'll attract clients who value what you have to offer. You'll have the resources to serve at a higher level, and you'll inspire other entrepreneurs to set healthy boundaries in their businesses. Now, breaking free from the poverty mindset is just one step in the process. In the next video, I'm going to share the foundational shift that will change everything about how you approach your business. We're going to talk about the difference between building with God and for God, and why understanding your identity as a son or daughter makes all the difference in the world about how you approach your business. But for today, I want you to think about this question. What would change in your business if you truly believed God wanted you to prosper? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're ready to drop the poverty mindset and build a profitable business that honors God, I have a limited number of calls available this week. Click the link below and we'll figure out together what's been holding you back financially and build a plan to move forward with confidence. Remember, you don't have to be poor to prove you're spiritual. God wants you to prosper in your business so that you can be powerful in advancing the kingdom. Thanks for watching.